The next one. This is about open data for improved land governance by Lisette Meij, Land Portal of Netherlands. Please, Lisette Meij, please.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lisette Meij. I'm from the Land Portal Foundation. I'm really happy to be a part of this session today because I think IT innovations can play a really important role in mapping land governance issues. And yeah, that's very, very important because if you have information about land, it can really help making better decisions about land governance. The issue that I would like to talk to you about today is that access to that information is often not easy. It's very difficult. So what I want to talk to you about today is how the Land Portal tries to improve access to that information through open data, through an open data approach, and how we work towards establishing an information ecosystem. So the Land Portal Foundation, the Land Portal website was made in 2009, and to respond to this fact that we believe that information is a really valuable tool to contribute towards a world of improved land governance, but to find good evidence to base policy and practice on is really, really difficult because there are so many different sources of information. You need to know where to find them. They're all in silos on different websites or not even published at all. So that's really difficult. And also there is so much information that it's almost impossible for a human to find the piece of information that they're looking for. And also, with everybody being able to upload anything to the web, you really need to be able to check the reliability of the information that you find. So people tend to stick with what they know and trust, so the full potential of sharing information is not reached. So in this context, the Land Portal website was created. We tried to bring information together from these various sources so you can find them through one website. We don't try to be a one-stop shop that we take all the information on our website, but we're a gateway, a portal where we show people where they can find the relevant information. I'll try to go through this quickly because I know we don't have a lot of time. So how do we improve access to information? Through this gateway function, so we show people where they can find the relevant information. Of course, putting all of that in one website does not help the fact that you have to distinguish between where to find the relevant information for you. So that is where we add an open data approach to the information that we share. So what we share on the Land Portal website is the metadata of information. So that's basically information telling you what you can find in this particular resource or information. So we enrich that metadata to make sure that users have enough information to provide them what the actual information is about if they go to the original website. And besides that, we make it machine readable because we just had a presentation about big data. We're talking about millions and millions of records, and it's impossible for a human to digest all of that information, so we need the help of machines. So what we do with the Land Portal, we add an extra layer that makes the information machine readable. And through that, we hope to move towards an information ecosystem. And this is where, if everybody applies the same open data standards, the same data models, and if everything is machine readable, machines can link each database together, understand what the information is about, and that makes it a really powerful tool for anybody to benefit and to work towards and improve land governance. That is a very big picture and it's very abstract, so I would like to bring it back to the organizational level. Why should you share your information and be part of this information ecosystem? If you share your information and others share their information, it increases the efficiency of your work enormously because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can build upon what other people have already done and learn from it. It serves for better decision making because the best practices are out there and easy to find and easy to learn from. It increases the impact of your information considerably because it's not only you that learns from your research projects or whatever you've accomplished or whatever knowledge you have, but anyone can benefit from it. It opens the way for collaboration because you can find synergies. You don't need to actually meet in person, though of course that's very nice always, but you don't need to talk to people to know synergies because it's all out there in this information ecosystem. And you can get inspired, generate new ideas from what other people are doing. The benefits are endless. But of course, there are also barriers to share information, and we hear these on a daily basis. I've categorized them in two categories. The first one being what we kind of call like a state of mind. If you are aware of the benefits, these should really outweigh these barriers. You should want to invest the time and resources because it gives you so much back. So we try to move towards an open culture where we can move past this. The other three barriers are much more fundamental. People are afraid that their information is going to be taken out of context. If it's out there for everybody to reuse and build upon, they can also misuse. And how do you prevent that? People are afraid that they're not going to receive just recognition for the work that they did. If you are creating apps or you're performing research that you put in money and time, and if people can build upon that and reuse it, and where is your time recognized? And also, if we're talking about mapping land ownership and land tenure systems, it's very politically sensitive and it can be privacy sensitive as well. So people would choose to not publish it to make sure that you don't breach anybody's privacy. And what we say with the land portal is these are very, very understandable and very fundamental barriers. But we say that you can mitigate these risks in the way that you share your information. So now I would like to go through a couple of steps with you, how you can share your information according to open data standards and how you can mitigate these risks this way. So the first step is really easy. You have to make sure it's online, your information. And if it's privacy sensitive information, you can filter what you think is privacy sensitive and filter that out. And when you publish information, you have to consider the format that you're publishing it in, because we need machine readable documents, because we need machines to be able to read and understand what the information is saying. So you can't just upload a PDF, because a computer needs software, very sophisticated software, to flawlessly read what is in a PDF. The same counts for Excel, though more types of software are capable of reading what is in an Excel file. It still needs some sort of software. So you need non-proprietary formats like XML or RDF to publish your information in. Now these sound really technical formats, but it's really not. It's just Excel, save as an XML, and there you go. The second thing is that we think you should consider your licensing. That people think this is a legal issue and they rather not get into that too much. But it's really important because it has a big influence on the impact of your data. So first of all, copyright and licensing are two different things. You'll never lose copyright, even if you go open data. If you've created the data, you'll own the data. So that's not going to change. With the license, you can make sure you can control how people use it. So when people think about going open data, they often associate it with going to the public domain. It's out there, completely free to use and misuse, and you lose all control over the information that you've published. So they choose to either put in all rights reserved or put in nothing at all, which has the same effect. If you don't put anything at all, if you don't specify a license, it's all rights reserved. And that's very closed, because for every type of reuse, a user has to reach out to you personally, tell you how they want to reuse your data, and you have to give explicit permission each time. So that really, really decreases the impact of your knowledge. In between public domain and all rights reserved, there's a whole spectrum of Creative Commons licensing where you can determine how people can reuse your information. So if you want to have just recognition, you can put in the license that they need to attribute to you whenever they reuse your information. And it's not like you need a lawyer to determine these licenses. You can just go to creativecommons.org, fill in a very simple form, I want this, I don't want that, and it spits out your legal license. So we don't say, with the land portal, we don't say use license A or B. We're just saying consider your license, because if you don't, nobody can use it unless you give them specific permission. The third thing is to structure your information. So you need to be able to tell users and machines what they can find if they look for what is in your information. So you need to create metadata. Make sure that users and machines know what they can find and if it's relevant for them. I can illustrate that with an example, but I'll keep it really short. This is a publication by Habitat for Humanity. This is how they published it. And this is how you follow, if you follow metadata standards. Don't think about the layout, that's not important, but if you add all these fields, you'll be able to tell machines what it's about and give also more context. You can create the context in the metadata itself for your data, so you have some control over this. Now, how do you make sure that machines understand what is in that data, what is in that metadata? And for that, you need to use standards. And this is where it gets pretty technical, so I hope that you can follow me on this. If I, for example, try to upload a publication about Laos People's Democratic Republic, and I put that in the metadata and do it in a database that doesn't use standards, and a user types in Laos or Lao PDR, or types in the name of the country in a different language, the computer won't be able to connect these two together. They won't know it's the same, where a human brain knows it does. So developers have implemented an ISO standard, so 3-letter codes for each country, to make sure that they understand, not only can read, but they understand what the information is about. So it's not like I'll need to know the 3-letter code, or that the user needs to know the 3-letter code, but it's implemented in the system, and this way you can connect really easily. The same counts for topical keywords, and this is actually even more difficult. If I am searching for slums and query a database, it will not give me things that in South Africa have been tagged as townships, or things in Brazil that have been tagged with favela, or somebody else tagged with informal settlements, even though those are pieces of information that I would be interested in. So with the LAMP portal, and I'm almost done, I promise. With the LAMP portal, we have created a standard for these topical keywords. So we have a list of 270 words that we've connected to a code similar to the ISO code. And within that code is all the information. So there are synonyms, there are a lot of translations, and even other relationships with other terms that make sure that if that is implemented in your system, you'll get much richer results and you won't miss the relevant information. So that makes it much more easy to find for a user, but at the same time, computers can also read it and digest it and connect this together with other databases as well. So that's a really powerful tool. And we are constantly enriching Landvoc. It's a living thing. We ask our southern partners, our local partners in particular, to add more translations as we go. We ask them to check the list, add synonyms to reflect local usage, so it can really be a tool by and for the land governance community, and make sure that we share our information in a much more efficient way. So moving forward, I would like to ask you to think to yourself how you publish your information and how you can improve the access to that information, and would like to ask you if you would help us in establishing this information ecosystem online, so we can all work towards better land governance with better informed decisions. Thank you.
Any questions?